guys, welcome back to Channel Pause Window Cleaning, and today we have a very exciting video that we want to share with you guys. We're here at the WCR website, so let's just jump right in and see what they have.
Yeah, this is so timely. Just literally yesterday I set these up. Trying to get the marketing department to articulate that idea.
All right, so we're here with Chris, and he is the designer, if I'm not mistaken, of all the water-fed poles and trad poles here on the side. But yeah, tell us about all this pro water-fed lineup. So we have now the solar, we have the gutter 2, we have the micro, destroyer, ultralight. Yeah, so tell us about this. What makes, let's say, for example, the solar different from like the M9 and the destroyer? What do you say about that?
Cool. So between these two racks here, we essentially have our Pro line and our compact line. So going from the top, this is fairly self-explanatory.
Yeah.
They're just pieced together. This, the solar line, it's essentially the same layout of tubes as the micro series, so they're all the same length.
Okay.
The core difference being this is not full carbon fiber like the rest of them are.
Okay.
It has layers of fiberglass woven in between the carbon fiber to give you sort of an insulation layer from electricity, because solar panels are plugged in, and as they're cleaning out there, we want to make the tools as non-conductive as possible.
Yeah, because everyone always asks me that, like, oh, what is this solar? What is it all about? But that would make sense because you're literally working with electricity.
Yeah, so the layout is identical. It just has a special weave in between it to...
Gotcha.
I wouldn't bring it anywhere near a power line or anything like that. It's just a little extra protection. Okay. Yeah.
And so these are like one of your newest poles, I would assume, right? This is when it comes to like the water fed / solar and all that. This is like the newer line.
Yeah, I believe we rolled this out late winter. Yeah.
Oh, okay, nice. And then here we have like, so this is a lot of you guys ask me this all the time. The M9 is literally the trad. Can you still see me? Oh yeah. It's pretty much the same as a 12, but this one goes up to 23 feet, if I'm not mistaken.
So this M9 is actually just the first 6 sections of the micro, which is sort of like the trad. Okay. The trad 12 is just a couple little extra inches on it. Okay. But yeah, same from the compact series of poles, and the only difference between the core micros is it's a hybrid pole. Gotcha. It is fiberglass and carbon fiber weaved together. So if you were to compare, say, these 6 sections against the standard micro, this would definitely be a tad heavier, and it would have some more flex to it. So it's basically just like a price point version of that. And we only offer 2 hybrid poles, this and this. We could totally be selling way more poles by making all of these hybrid, but I really don't believe that hybrid material is suitable to be using above 23, 25 feet. Okay. There's a lot of repetitive motion injury type things that can happen because there's so much flex to the pole. Yeah, especially my shoulders too. Right, yeah. So that's where you're going to feel it, because really stiffness and lightness translates to more scrubbing power on the glass and more ease on your joints. You're not having to do all this extra work and engage all sorts of different muscles in your arm. And I can go with that point, because sometimes when I first started, I had the micro basic right here, and what happened was when I was using it a lot, I would get that flex and all that. So I totally understand where you're coming from. But yeah, so here we have just pretty much the micro only comes in different colors, right? When it comes to that. Exactly right. So this micro was the first pole we made, and I kind of believe it to be our best in design-wise, because the way it's laid out on the inside. It's an actual 30-foot long pole, but it compacts down shorter than any other pole in the market at 30 feet. So it's great for people that work out of small vehicles, or just put in a trunk. If I was a residential window cleaner, I would get something from the micro line for sure. And I agree with that 100%, because I first started, as you guys know, my first pole when I came into this line was the micro, and man, it like is a game changer. It's like a great entry-level pole that is micro, works phenomenal. But as you guys know, I then upgraded to the micro ultralight, and I wanted to ask you, what made you get into, how did you get into the ultralight from the micro? Is it
A lot of people are telling that it was a little bit heavy, or how did you?
We just wanted to round out the lineup a little bit. Basically, the wall thickness on this standard carbon fiber is 1.1 millimeters.
Okay.
And this uses 3 grades of carbon fiber above this. Okay. So this is ultra high modulus. There's regular 2 grades of regular high modulus in between, but this uses the top tier high modulus material, and it's thinned down to 0.9 millimeters. Oh, okay. So basically, it achieves its lightness by removing material and changing the grade of carbon fiber, essentially.
Gotcha.
And on that point, the destroyer here is the same thing, just thickened. So you have standard carbon fiber, ultra high modulus carbon fiber, ultra high modulus carbon fiber, 1.2 millimeters. This achieves its stiffness from the ultra high modulus as well as the increased wall thickness, basically.
Gotcha.
So substantially heavier than this, substantially lighter than the others.
So as you guys, well, I'm going to show you guys later. I have an exciting video later that I want to talk to you guys more about, but earlier today, I was actually able to use the micro destroyer. As you guys know, I have the ultralight, and really this felt like I felt very confident when it came to cleaning the windows on a higher level, because this one here is very nice when it comes to being light, but at the same time, if you're going really high and you're using this, I can totally see why a lot of you guys, especially if you're doing commercial work, doing 4+ stories, this will be awesome for that. But yeah.
100%. Yeah, it's not one of our best sellers, but it's there for the people that want it.
Yeah, like especially me, as you guys know, I have the Ford Maverick, and I can't be carrying, we'll talk more about it later, but we'll have like not the micro series, but the regular series, and we can't put that pole in our back of our trunk because, or our bed I should say, because 4.5 foot. And so for something like this is perfect. I fit it in, works really nice, and especially you guys don't maybe have a truck, you have like a compact car or something like that. This is great because you can just throw it in the trunk or whatever, and it looks really nice, feels good, but you don't have to worry about putting your seats down necessarily. But yeah, the micro, we love it a lot. But I want to ask you really quick about the new clamps that you guys have now, the version 4, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, these are our V4 clamps. They are meant to be operated with one hand. Working out there with wet hands all day.
Yeah.
And it's designed so the pole slides a lot easier because it'll accommodate thinner and thicker carbon fiber as well. So it's kind of future-proofing us for some new designs that are coming in the future.
Ooh, new designs.
Yeah, new designs. Really, out of all our poles, the most thought has gone into the micro. The whole idea behind it was really you should only have to work with as much pole as you actually need for the job.
You don't always go 30 feet every time.
Right. So if you're doing 12 feet, just grab the first 3 sections out and you're in business.
Yep.
Every other section has one of these end defenders in there permanently, so it can
be able to go in and out, and you can kind of hit it on the end.
And it's protected. You can use it without fraying the carbon fiber.
And the best part is you have, what type of warranty do you have?
Lifetime.
Lifetime. Wow, lifetime. Not 12-year, lifetime. Yeah.
Before this is released, you will see it changed.
Oh, okay. Well, you guys will come to know something, I guess, in the future. But no, that's one thing, because as you know, we had our machine broke, the frame of it, and it has a 12-year warranty. Was able to get that shipped to our house. We're able to do it. There's another video about that. But it's so nice that you guys have this warranty, so you're very confident that it will last a long time, and you want to give ultimately the consumer the best product available. And if over wear and tear, like basic wear and tear, not like you're not throwing it or whatever, but just basic wear and tear, you have that confidence that if something does go wrong, that you have a replacement part that can come in specifically for the pole. So that's really cool.
Yeah, it's it's a big investment, and we were window cleaners before we started doing this, and I know how important it is to have reliable equipment on site that doesn't break down, because if it breaks down today, you might not be able to use it for that job. You'll schedule it tomorrow. So that warranty not only helps the customer, but it helps us internally make better products, because we know we'll be fixing things in the future if it comes up.
And also, I like his point that he said, that Chris said, is that like essentially they want you guys, and me too, right? Because I'm also the consumer, that you want to have that confidence, because it's not a $20 pole, not even close to that, right? It could be very expensive, especially the higher level of grade you get. But you want to have that confidence, and I feel confident, even my wife too, that essentially once we got the product, we don't have to worry about, if it breaks, that's the, boohoo for us. But I do want to ask you though about the other line of poles that we have here, unless you have something else.
One other talking point. Yeah. So not only can you work with just as much pole as you need, you can also add on to this if you need to.
Yes, okay.
We have these universal extensions down here.
Sure.
So this is standard carbon fiber.
And that's the one that I have.
Like this. So you could actually slide 2 of these onto this to make it 50 actual feet. Obviously, the way these are set up, you could add them infinitely, but you wouldn't want to do that.
It's going to start bending and flexing,
right. We offer this in regular high modulus, and we offer this in ultra high modulus.
Gotcha.
So if someone's working with a destroyer, for example, micro, they would want to grab this for just extra stiffness. So
you probably get this question a lot. So a lot of us try to save a little bit of money here and there. Not that the product is not good at all, but what is your opinion when, like, let's say someone were to have, like, let's say the destroyer, could they just get the regular basic universal pole, or like what do you feel like it has to be in line and all that?
So in that case, for example, if you look at the way carbon fiber flexes, if you tip it out over something, or even when you're working on it on a building, the part of the pole that's important to be the most stiff is actually the top. The bottom is less important.
Sure.
Really. So in the case you mentioned, exactly. So in the case you mentioned, you could totally be using this for your top, or this for your top, and this for your bottom.
Okay.
Totally acceptable.
Yeah, because I mean I don't know so much about it. That's why I wanted to ask you guys, I should say, because I know a lot of you guys ask me all the time, like, hey, even though I have a destroyer, it's quite, it's worth every penny, obviously, but is it possible to just get a universal? And we found our answer. Now, if we were to go in the same line, what's the benefit of, let's say you did have a destroyer and you got the destroyer, what's the benefit of that?
Just extra stiffness.
Extra stiffness, okay. All right, so plain and simple. But okay, do you want to move on then to the, so this is, so tell us about all this right here. So we have one extra different one than the micros, but yeah, tell us.
Yeah, so this is essentially our non-compact line.
Okay.
So the base model over there achieves 30 feet using 9 sections. The base model over here achieves 30 actual feet with 6 sections.
Gotcha.
And I say actual feet a lot because 0 is the only pole brand really that when you see the number on there, it's actually that long.
Really? So other ones don't do that?
So. Well, what they do a lot is they add reach. So you go to buy a 30-foot pole, it's only
maybe like 25 or something.
And they're assuming you're going to be holding it up here. Yeah. And that never really sat well with us, so we do it this way.
So if it's, in theory, if it's 30, it would be 35. If I'm like 5'10", so it'll be like 36 maybe, let's say, right?
Exactly. It is a competitive disadvantage to do it this way, but I think it's best for the customer long term.
Yeah, okay. It's good to know. And to kind of show you guys too, because you guys know I have a micro, like let's say the light. A couple of you guys asked me, remember, I'm 5'10". This is how tall it is. So my Maverick would not be able to fit this in the bed unless I get like some hoses and all that like connected to the car, but like tubes I should say. But yeah, it's a little bit higher. But now why, in a sense, or not why, but what is the advantages of having these type of poles, like the Stevenator, Ultralight Pro, Destroyer? Tell us a little bit more.
So just the core advantage is, let's say, if you're looking at this 30-foot pole versus that 30-foot pole, both exactly go to 30 feet, actual length, same grade of carbon fiber, difference being 6 sections versus 9. This is about $200 cheaper because it's using less clamps, there's less cuts in the carbon fiber factory, there's less assembly, there's less end defenders in the end, so there's a cost savings for potentially using this.
Does this have the trad in it, inside of it?
It does not.
It does not, okay.
So that's
all right.
another thing.
Okay.
So I've used this stuff, as more commercial focused, and that's more residential. Think, you know, you're working around a customer's house, there's valuables over there, you want to be using the most compact thing possible to not hit a car or
and sometimes like you have like a gap like this between like the wall and the house, you're kind of going, and if you have something like this you can hit it, you know.
Exactly. So the whole idea behind this series is only buy as much pole as you need.
Okay.
When we first started doing this, if you wanted a 30-foot pole, you had to buy a 30-foot pole. If you wanted a 40-foot pole, you had to buy a 40-foot pole. Yeah. The idea behind this was everybody could start with the base model 30. So you get a job, you need a pole, you buy this, great. You go bid on another job 2 months later, and you need to get a little higher, you don't need to buy a 40-foot pole. You could just come back and buy the 7 and 8 section, and it slides right over. Same theory with this. You just can add the 9 and 10.
Okay. So then tell me now a little bit, because we have 2 extra, if I'm not mistaken, 2 different poles here. So tell us a little bit about the Stevenator and the light. So how does that fit into this line of poles?
So as you're looking at this, essentially highest quality down.
Okay.
Most affordable down.
Okay. Oh, there you go.
Yeah. So this is standard carbon fiber, 24T, basic stuff.
Okay.
85% of people buy this.
Yeah, and we did the same. Yeah, we did the same when we first started. Yeah. And, or actually, no, we got the micro. Sorry, I got the micro, but yes.
Yeah, it's a fantastic starter pole. It's great. It's great for employees. It's great for an owner-operator. It's just the cheapest possible way to get a full 30-foot carbon fiber pole. Okay. The Stevenator is kind of the next step up. This is high modulus carbon fiber, and it has a little bit of a different layout. It has a trad pole inside.
Okay, this has a trad pole. Okay.
Yeah, so it has a trad pole and it's stiffer. And the dimensions are a little bit different than this. It's outside of our Pro Series. But the layout of these is the exact same as this. Okay. Everything is the same inside, with the exception that this uses ultra high modulus carbon fiber. Okay. And like the Gold Micro, the walls have been thinned down purposely to 0.9 millimeters in an effort to save weight.
Yeah. Okay. And then, as you were saying, like then from there you have this one's a little bit more stiff, a little bit good for a higher end, right? Yeah. And then let me ask you, how high does the Destroyer can potentially go if you really max it out?
I have seen numerous photos of people using it at 90 feet successfully. I feel like you might need some binoculars.
Yeah.
And, I'm not going to say that's practical to do, but it can be done, and there's certain occasions where people do it.
But it would only work for the regular, not the micro, right? The 90, you would suggest probably, if you were to go that high, it would probably be the more of the regular pole, correct?
Technically, the way it's laid out, you could do it, but I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah, okay, all right, okay. No, because
this would be the way to do it.
Yeah, because I saw a video that this one, I feel like this is the one that you can go the highest, correct?
100%.
100%, okay.
Same deal here. You buy the 30, you can come back and add 2 sections to get it to 40.
So you don't need to necessarily buy this Destroyer extension. You can just go from 30 to 40. Yep. But if you're going to go to 50, then you have to buy this, in theory.
100%.
Okay.
Yeah. So then, you could add 2 of these and get to 60.
Okay, to 90. Yeah, okay. Yeah. And then this one is, I feel like it's the lightest one. Now, why is this so light? I want to ask.
So this is basically has the walls really thinned down, and it has some like cross wraps on the inside that give it some stiffness. But I feel like this pole is sort of the perfect balance between the ultralight and the Destroyer. This is like the ultimate owner-operator pole.
Okay. Yeah, this one, like I was saying, this one's like super tall. This one is like, wow. And yeah, I mean, you're how tall? Like 6'2"?
6'1".
6'1"? And so you can imagine with him too, it's, it's very tall, but I mean, it's super light, super light.
Yeah, insanely light. So currently this is just 45. We have a 35 and a 25-foot model coming out in probably 2 months.
Okay,
so
great.
See that in late Q4.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
so like a kind of like a sneak preview.
Kind of like it. Yeah.
Now would you say, like, if you had to choose between, let's just focus on here. If you had to choose your go-to on all these poles, let's just say 30 feet or 40, I guess. What would be your go-to, like your go-to pole?
Oh, it's so hard to say because it's really, we like to think of it as we have a pole for every situation.
Okay.
So it really depends what the situation is. Let's say you have a bunch of employees.
Okay, there you go.
You know, they don't necessarily take the best care of things, but they want something quality. Definitely the Red Label Pro Basic one.
Okay. If you're an operator, what would you suggest? Just
let's say you're an operator that's been
more residential. Let's say more residential. What would you say?
I would go that way towards the micro series.
Okay, so then let's say more commercial. What would you say as an owner?
Commercial?
Yeah.
And I've been doing this for 20 years. Oh man, my joints are super sore. I'm gonna definitely go with the gold.
Okay. All right.
Or maybe you want to preemptively prevent that. Start with something lighter.
Yeah. Okay.
If I was younger and had a crew or not, and I was doing high reach commercial, I would definitely go for the Destroyer.
Destroyer. Okay.
Yeah.
No, because the only reason I'm asking is because I want everyone on the channel to know like what because there's so many different poles, and I get asked all the time, what's the best pole all around? I have difficulty answering that question because
there's no real answer.
There's no real answer, and it sucks sometimes because I do more on the residential side than commercial. But again, I'm always using, if we come here really quick, I always use this one all the time, and this is like my go-to. Like if I need to do low, like 1-story windows or whatever, I do that. Or one story. If maybe I go to like 3 stories, this is great. But yeah, it's like this is my go-to. But again, everyone's different. Now, if you're doing commercial, like you were saying, maybe you want to get something a little more stiffer. If you go 5 stories, so but yeah, it's just so many poles that it's hard to say sometimes. Yeah,
it's a big struggle of ours around here, articulating to the customer what is going to be best for them, because everybody wants to ask what's the best pole.
Yeah,
and it's just not an answer. It's so situation dependent. Are you doing mainly residential?
You have a crew.
Employees? Yeah. Are you aging a tad? Is lightness the core factor for you? Is stiffness the core factor? Because between a super stiff pole and a super light pole, technically speed-wise, you're going to be much more efficient with the stiffer pole. Yeah, sure. Because you're not losing energy in that little bit of flex you get in a lighter pole. Because certainly the lighter pole is going to be less stiff than this actually. Yeah. Which is kind of interesting. You wouldn't think that, but
no, because I was going to say, I bet you get this. This is like probably the number one question you get asked all the time. What is the best, cheapest pole, right? They always ask that all the time. So there you go. So, but if I'm not mistaken, that starts out at $650. If I'm not mistaken, the Pro 30.
$649, I believe.
$649. Okay, so that's a great option. I know a lot of you guys ask, but again, if you want to kind of go to if you have a smaller car, you want to probably get the micro basic. But it's not only the poles that we have here. We have other poles that are kind of like, could be a hybrid, right? It's more traditional, more for like mop and squeegee, but can also be used as a water fit, unless you have something else.
Just a closing point on the product. Other than the excellent support and amazing warranty, no questions asked, etc., the prices overall of these are designed to be more competitive than any other carbon fiber pole sold inside the United States or North America for that matter. And that is all because of our factory direct model to the user. We don't really have distributors. We have a couple friends that we let sell it. For the most part, we do not open the brand up to distributors.
So pretty much it's only here.
Yeah, totally. Because if you look at some of the other popular brands in the country, they essentially have, even if you buy it direct from that manufacturer, 40 extra percentage points built into that, and they have to do that to make it attractive for a reseller to sell. Because we 99.9% go direct to the customer, we just shave that whole distributor model right out of it. And aside from them being the highest quality, they really are the most affordable in their class. So comparing, an ultralight pole to an ultralight pole.
Yeah. Okay, no, this helps a lot. Yeah, because I mean, I personally love the brand. That's why I wanted to come here, be at the warehouse, kind of show you guys the different poles. Obviously, I don't have all these poles, so that's why it's nice to actually be here, kind of test it out earlier today. I'll have a video about it later, about like the different poles, but it's been nice to be able to just test them all out and yeah, it's just nice to have opportunity to be here with you guys.
Oh,
you know?
Thank you so much for coming. We really appreciate it.
But yeah, let's move on to here. So one question that I was gonna have Chris ask Chris was, what is this 0J2? So what is this good for? Is this something that you know, if you're just doing like maybe commercial storefronts, would that be like kind of like the go-to pole?
Yeah, it's just a compact pole that is affordable. This is not full carbon fiber. This does actually have a hybrid material.
Okay. And how high does this go?
9 feet.
9 feet, okay. That's perfect for like regular, yeah, exactly. Perfect for commercial work, like storefronts and stuff.
Yeah. It's just a handy pole.
Okay.
It's compact. You can do a lot of stuff with it. We did come out with a regular trad pole first, and we had a request from two of our favorite customers.
Okay.
James and James. Hence the name J2.
Okay. James and James. Okay.
James and James. Yeah. And they asked if we could make them a pole that looked like a lightsaber. So
oh, okay.
We made that.
This would look like Darth Vader, right? I guess. Yeah. Okay.
When we were trying to come up with a name, there was all sorts of Star Wars puns.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, I like Star Wars myself too. Yeah, because I know that there's also like the Unger has the Transformer box that has something like this, but this one obviously goes farther, so that's really cool because mine only goes like, you know, just has one section, but this is really nice if it's just a little window that's like a little bit out of reach, but you don't want to use a ladder. This would be kind of like the go-to, right?
Super handy.
Yeah. And then we have all these different colors here, and besides the black, what would you say is like the most popular color?
Green and pink.
Green and yeah, we have a pink one that we've been using, doesn't fade at all, and we like it very much. The quality is very good, but yeah, I mean the original is the black one, right? You would say?
Yeah.
And how long have you been doing this trad for?
So like, probably this is the first trad pole in window cleaning. That's carbon fiber. I had sort of watched online for a few years people joking around about making one, and then I realized like the first 3 sections of the micro could be quite suitable for that. And it was born, and it was sort of just a joke. And then it got really popular. So here it is. So so we came out with the 12 first, and then people were like, oh,
can you make it smaller?
Let me get a 16, let me get a 20. So we did that, and then our factory started getting better at working with paint colors and stuff like that. So we started doing these, and they became pretty popular. And, usually every like 18 months we recycle the colors into a different one. So there's a whole bunch of ones that aren't reflected here. Is there like any limited edition colors that come out seasonally or something like that you might say that? Yeah, we did one called the Americamo, which is like a camouflage print with the American flag. Okay, all right. That was fun. Okay. We actually did a couple camouflage micros. Okay. I wasn't really thrilled with the way the paint was coming out though, so we discontinued those. Okay, but normally you want to just focus, in your opinion, like the colors on just the 12 track. I think so. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's kind of like works for you guys. Yeah, and like people seem to like the colors because they can sort of pair it with their branding. So many window cleaning companies use blue and green as part of their logo scheme. Yeah, like us, we use blue, so yeah. And they're also high visibility because it's quite easy to lose a storefront pole. Yeah. Leave it somewhere where you're right on the wall and you just head out. Yeah, so it's a visual thing. But yeah, having colors like this will definitely help you to remind. Because normally like the frame like commercial's black, right? Because that's normally it. But with having just different colors, but yeah. And just something fun because for the most part, for the past 15 years, window cleaners have been only staring at black carbon fiber poles. So it was nice that we could start doing this just to give some people something different to look at. Yeah, because we had a job last week, and the black one that we had was getting very hot, so like this would probably help with the heat, right? Having a different color. Obviously, you know, I was doing very high work, but if I was doing more like storefronts, California kind of gets hot at times, over 100 degrees. So these would be like, I think, a really go-to when it comes to getting like that 12-foot. On the flip side of that, a great benefit for the winter is these don't get super cold like traditional aluminum poles do. So all the northern state window cleaners really like these because they're not giving their hands an extra.
Yeah, you have it and it slides down and
well, okay. Aluminum poles get very chilly.
Yeah, and they bend too. Yeah. These ones don't bend. If you just keep extending, coming back, yeah. But anything else before we wrap it up on the pole end and the trad or the micros?
Our same warranty applies across the whole line. These also all now have the 2.0 clamps. This is the default tip that comes with it. It's an Acme with the most basic of basic wood cones.
Yeah, because you want it to fit in every single squeegee pretty much.
So that's why we put it for free by default in every one. I always do recommend people upgrade to our zero metal adapter here. I think it's only like $12. And with that, you can fit your favorite tip. Like the Mormon tip fits it, the Ettore tip fits it, the Felix tip fits it. So that you can really like plug into the squeegee you prefer to use.
Because sometimes it might slip off, but if you give it a good jam, you know, it's pretty sturdy, right, to have this.
I do not consider this a long-term scenario when somebody buys it. I always recommend
it's just a good entry level.
Totally.
Yeah, okay.
It's all available on the product page if they wish to change the configuration.
Okay, well that helps a lot. But thanks so much,
Thank
Chris.
You so much.
And we're
really
gonna
appreciate it.
Yeah, we just love that you took the time to be with us a little bit to kind of like break down everything. And you're the designer of these poles, so it's nice to meet the designer of the Zero poles and know kind of like the back end about like Star Wars. As you guys know, I like Star Wars, but I kind of like Darth Vader. But it's nice to see how you take a lot of passion into your work and make sure that it's a good quality product so that ultimately, like us as a consumer, can feel confident and not worry about it breaking and then being like boo-hoo for you type of thing. Like a 30-day warranty or something like that, So.
In closing.
Oh, yeah?
I screwed up. It's not James and James. It's James and Jacob. I don't want that out there that I messed up, guys. I'm sorry. I can put it out there. I just want to correct myself.
If anything, I can always edit it, but it's not a problem.
James and Jacob.
Okay, James and Jacob. Okay. So, but thanks so much, Chris, and we'll move on to the other parts of the
Appreciate
warehouse.
You coming. Come back anytime. Please.
Yeah, sounds good. Okay.
Thank you.
They're trying to push orders out till 5, and these guys are like, $5, see you later.
Okay, I was just thinking just one photo really quick of like the crew, whoever stays behind.
Totally. So. The shipping crew's always good to get.
Yeah, okay. All right, so now we're here with Alex, Chris's brother, talking to us about the different water-fed systems, what they're used for, if you're more into commercial, more into residential. Another big topic is soft water, hard water, but we're gonna break down kind of everything. Hopefully this can help you out when choosing a system. The one that I have is the XR Max, but this one is the newer model, but we'll get into that. But let's just start off by the first one.
Yeah. So DI, if you live in an area with soft water, a simple DI system like this is best. They're extremely affordable up front. Again, if you have soft water. If your water is on the harder side, you're going to run through the filters in here faster. This is just a standard 40-inch refillable DI cartridge inside here. It's roughly a quarter cubic foot of DI resin. You can refill that for about $65, $70 on your own. All you need is some electric tape to replace the resin inside here. Same goes for this single and the double. This is roughly a half cubic foot of DI resin in here. For mobility purposes, this little guy is just on a shoulder strap. Nice. You can take it off. Honestly, it's not the most comfortable thing to carry around, but you can leave it on here or take it off if you want. It comes with it. It's included. With the cart systems, we did put a pre-filter on here. We're using the Zero Pure frame and wheels, so a lot of parts from that just use on the simple DI system. Garden hose in, runs through a pre-filter, and then right to the DI resin.
Let me ask you about the pre-filters before you move it away. So there's the carbon filter and there's another filter. I'm just blanking on the name on it.
You have sediment, you have carbon, and you have a chloramine filter.
So can you explain to us a little bit the three of those?
Chloramine filters are becoming more popular. If you have city water, municipalities, they are putting chloramines in the water. They're apparently a little bit more aggressive in removing chemicals that are in the water. But the problem with chloramines is they kill RO membranes. So on our higher end systems, we include chloramine filters right out of the box from the factory, us. We include those in there to protect those RO membranes, but the less expensive systems still come with standard carbon filters. They're a lot less expensive. The chloramine filters are about 3 times the price of the standard carbon filter.
Do they last the same amount of time?
They do last the same amount of time, but they're just going to work harder removing chlorinates from the water, so it doesn't kill your RO membrane as fast.
So if someone bought the system and it came with the carbon, they can upgrade to that one, and it fits perfectly into
same size,
okay.
same everything.
Okay.
If you're using just DI, you don't need anything special in here. Even a sediment filter will work.
Okay.
It'll just help keep any kind of debris from getting into this into the system here and slowly clogging it up and potentially slowing down water production.
Okay. All right.
So we have the single and the double.
Okay.
If you're not in a soft water area, like most of the country, you do want something with an RO membrane. This is our number one right here. This is the Zero Pure.
Mm-hmm.
It's affordable. It's a single user system. Three stages of filtration. Pre-filter, it's going to remove any kind of sediment and chlorine. It's a carbon filter. It's going to go to the 40-inch RO membrane. We do have max flow membranes in here, so you're going to get anywhere between half a gallon and 0.75 of a gallon of standard tap pressure. If you were to put a pump in front of any of these, you could easily get a gallon plus per minute.
Gotcha.
And then you have your refillable 10-inch DI cartridge in there. There's about an eighth of a cubic foot of DI resin in there.
Gotcha.
So you buy that quarter cubic foot for 65, 70 bucks. You can refill that 2 times.
Sure.
But easy to move around.
And this is if you were to get the ultimate residential kits, this is the system that will come with, correct?
Yes, correct.
Yes. Okay.
Again, single user, it'll push water 30, 40 feet off a residential tap, no problem.
Okay.
Most residences aren't higher than 40
Yeah,
feet.
yeah, no.
Most are just 30 feet that you're going to use a water fed pole on, so this is ideal for that. And the high flow membrane works great with that lower PSI that you're going to get on a residential property.
Yeah, this is totally a good system, especially like you said, max 4. I can vouch for that. It works perfectly. It doesn't have too much of like, if you go like low, if you're like lower than 4, it's a perfect amount of pressure and works really great. But now we're going to kind of go into the higher pretty soon. If you need to go up to like past 4, we'll talk about that really soon. But
Absolutely.
yeah, this still comes in the ultimate system.
This is number one, the number one seller. It's just a good fit if you have remotely hard water.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
The fun colored frame, we have this red frame on here. This is a Zero Pure Plus, so a slight upgrade from the standard Zero Pure. I'll turn it around so you can see why.
Okay.
But the big upgrade on the Pure Plus, and this is actually an older model. We haven't beefed this one up. You'll see one more feature that these out of the box do have.
Okay.
Max Plus here, but you have
Okay.
a dual pre-filter. So you're going to hit a sediment filter first, then you're going to hit a chloramine filter.
Okay.
From there, you get a pressure gauge right up to the max flow 40-inch RO membrane to a 20-inch refillable. So you're back to a quarter cubic foot of DI resin in there.
Yeah, it's much bigger difference from the other one to this one. So
Yeah, you're not going to see
yeah.
a cleaning difference. You're not going to see a difference in the quality of water. It's just a length of time
Yeah.
between replacing the filters. That's all it is.
And what do you recommend? Like, if you're in hard water, like how often do you see people replacing their resin? Like
as needed. There's
as
no
needed?
there's
Okay.
no magic number. There's different minerals in the water that are going to have an effect on how long that resin lasts. So
And
there's
if you're
no,
like in well water compared to like maybe a little bit
correct,
lower. Okay.
you know, iron may do have more effects on there. Different things that are going to pull out of the ground that aren't going to come from a facility.
Gotcha.
So use your TDS meter, check your quality coming into the system and leaving the system whenever you set up for a job.
So when it comes to TDS, where is the best place to actually check your TDS?
Right out of the DI.
Not from your water fed pole. You would prefer from here better?
If you're setting up your system, check it from here.
Okay.
Let
Okay.
your pole run. You can certainly then bring it to the end of the brush.
Okay.
But if you're making good water here and you're using the same water-fed pole tubing for just pure water, you're going to be fine.
Okay. Yeah, because I get that question a lot too. So
Yeah.
you know, it's better to ask the ones that actually make the system, right?
It can't hurt. Check it from everywhere.
Yeah, and very good quality, by the way, too. This thing has just been great. Yeah.
And we gave these Plus systems the fun red frame. So Pure Plus, single user, just like the Zero Pure, just some slight upgrades.
All right. So my system, the updated one. So tell us about the system.
This is the Max. This one I just pulled right out of production, so there are no RO membranes in here yet, and there's no clamps on here,
Okay.
so it's just right out of production. The Max is a two-person, two water-fed pole system. Same thing, running off tap pressure. You're going to get anywhere between 1 to 2 gallons of water per minute from the system. Standard carbon pre-filter. It's going to remove sediment and it's going to take the chlorine out of the water. It's going through 2 RO membranes simultaneously. They don't run daisy-chained. It is just split right through both RO membranes. So you're going to get 2 waste ports. The wastewater just runs off. Included with that is wastewater hose. It's not going to hurt anything. It's just high mineral content water.
And the way he said it is because a lot of my clients are like, oh, is the water going to hurt my plants and everything? I'm like, actually, it's kind of watering your plants, so it's kind of nice.
There's no chemicals in it, no nothing.
Yeah.
It's just rejection water from the RO membranes.
Yeah, so it's not going to hurt anything. So a couple of my clients actually asked me to water their plants in a certain area. I put my system there. Everyone's happy.
Bring a longer section of hose and, you know, maybe get some soaker hose and just run it through a flower bed. It's not going to hurt anything.
Yeah. Okay.
This has just the standard 10-inch refillable DI on there as well. So this is the Max. Great 2-user system for hard water areas.
Perfect. Okay. And then now we have Max Plus.
The Max Plus. So the Max Plus, in keeping with Plus, you have a fun green frame on here.
Okay.
Pure Plus is red, Max Plus is green.
Okay.
So one thing that this model does have that our floor model doesn't yet have on there, we haven't updated the floor model yet, an add-on to the Plus system is this valve right here. This is going to let you switch between RO only water and then RO DI water. So in the mode it's currently in, if you take a look at this little handle right there, pointing down, that's going to just let water come right from there. So hook your pole up to there, or your hose up to there, and that's just water from the 2 RO membranes. That's good for solar panel cleaning. Anything that isn't a surface you can see through, go ahead and use just RO water. And you never know, test your water out of the ROs. If you're in an area where it's kind of borderline, not that hard, or you have really great pressure coming into the system, check just the RO water. A lot of times you can get away with just using RO, not necessarily using your DI resin to polish it down to 0. If you're under 10, it's going to be spot free. And
it's a good point that he mentioned that, because a lot of houses, maybe it's in your area too, but in LA, a lot of homes now are becoming soft water. They have already the pre-filters, they already have all the filters there, so you don't really necessarily, like he's saying, need to run your resin. You can kind of save on your resin a little bit. But let me ask you, is there like somewhere on a website that talks about TDS? Like, let's say they're not from LA or something. Is there a place that they can check their TDS?
We do have a link.
I'll put it in the description down below.
Yeah, I know they still have a spot on the website where you can enter your zip code and it will pull some data and give you kind of an average user submitted TDS reading from your area.
So that's good to know. So if you guys kind of want to know if you have soft or hard water, you can definitely look into that.
Yep. So Max Plus, 2-user, you get the larger 20-inch DI in here, the 2 pre-filters, and this, you can't miss it, green frame. Awesome system. Again, anywhere from 1 to 2 gallons per minute coming out of this. Add a pump, you'll have even more.
Yeah, okay. All right, what is this guy right here?
this little cutie, this is the Atom.
So what is the Atom? Does it have less pressure because it's so small, or what is this?
Yeah, so the whole idea behind the Atom is someone who doesn't have a van or a truck, they're working out of a smaller vehicle, station wagon, little cross-trek vehicles, things you don't have a lot of cargo room, the Atom can fit perfectly in there. It is obviously just compact. It still weighs about the same as a Zero Pure, actually a little bit more because there's some more metal on here because of the 2 housings.
Gotcha.
But instead of one 40-inch RO membrane, it's 2 21-inch RO membranes. So you're going to get just the same amount of water from this as you would from a Zero Pure. So still, even though there's 2, it's all about membrane surface area. So you're going to get just about anywhere from a half a gallon to a gallon of water from this under ideal conditions. Same thing though, standard carbon filter. It's going to remove sediment and the chlorine from the water, and a 10-inch refillable DI. It's just short.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the Atom.
But I love it.
Atom,
it's compact.
Small. It is compact. Yeah. You know, for residential cleaning out of a small vehicle, this and a 0 micro is like a killer combination.
Yeah. So to get that, so it's pretty much the exact same as the Zero Pure, just smaller. If you have a smaller car, like as you guys know, we have a Maverick, so we kind of have to have our system, our X2, which would be the Max right here. The Max, we kind of have to have it at an angle. So if we had something like this, we can just like slide it in, works perfectly. So great option if you don't have a lot of space, especially when you have a lot of equipment too. It's not just your system. Hey, I'm good to go. Sometimes you need your poles, you need all your different
reels, all kinds of extras.
So it starts adding up. So it's not just the system itself. So keep that in mind.
Yeah, and something to keep in mind too is weight. That X2 you have and the Max Plus, they're heavy. Once they're full of water, they are heavy, not the easiest thing to move in and out. So a smaller Zero Pure is single user friendly for getting in and out of the vehicle and for using water.
I can definitely vouch for that. So
yes. All right, speaking of heavy. Speaking of heavy, this is the Max Power. So it's got the Max name because it is a dual RO system. But Power, gave it away right there. there's an onboard motor and pump here.
Nice. Okay.
So, I don't even know where to start on this big fella. We have built-in cable management right here.
Okay. So you can plug in and all that.
Yeah, you can wrap the cable on here, so it's not just wrapped around the handle. It's not just dragging behind you, and it does come with a nice little Velcro cinch. So when you're done using it, you can actually wrap it up. When you lay it down, it will stay all together on here.
Okay.
Coming into the system, this one is used. We do demos with this guy all the time. You have a dual pre-filters. You have your sediment and your chloramine filter. Chloramine is standard on the max power. From there, same deal. Feeds two 40-inch RO membranes with no pump. You can make up to 2 gallons of water per minute with this. When you do turn the pump on, you can make 3 and 4 gallons per minute when the pump is.
And the turn on is totally this right here,
up.
right?
Yes.
Yeah. So you want to so right here is the on and off. So if you wanted to turn it on, obviously plugged in, that's where you would do it.
Yep. Just a simple toggle switch. You do have the option to make just RO water with this.
Okay, like
the
other one.
Yep,
Okay.
It's got that built-in bypass right there. You can adjust the pressure on the pump. There's a regulator right on top.
Okay.
Easy. You have your pressure gauge up front as well. I'll spin that around so you can see it. Pressure gauge down on the bottom there. And we really intentionally tried to keep everything within the frame of the system.
Yeah,
so
that makes
nothing
sense.
hanging out, nothing that's going to get ripped off, just sliding around the back of the vehicle. Things do happen.
Yeah, no, I can imagine.
As every window cleaner can attest.
Yeah.
This also does have a built-in TDS meter. So it's an onboard meter. And where this is measuring from is after the pre-filters and then after the RO membrane. So it's not giving you a reading of what's coming out of the final product of your DI.
Okay.
So we still do include a handheld TDS meter.
Gotcha. Okay.
So really this is just to measure your incoming water and then how your ROs are producing.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
As far as RO membranes go, and I kind of touched on it before, the more pressure you have going into an RO membrane, the better it's going to perform. So that means the lower the TDS. So not just the amount of water, but the lower the TDS you're going to get from
I did not know that.
So pressure is your friend.
Yeah, okay.
Pressure saves your DI. It gives you better spot-free water, or close to spot-free water, and it gives you more water.
Yeah, because sometimes we have some houses that their regulator or their whatever for the house, the hose reel or the hose spigot, it doesn't regulate. So sometimes they get like the most pressure ever, and it's like splashing everywhere. So sometimes they have to lower it. So apparently that is a good thing. So I didn't know that. So
yeah, RO membrane technology. They're not there for ultra low pressure.
Gotcha.
Yet. I mean, your standard home has 30-40 psi coming out of it. Most RO membranes on the market, they're going to run optimal about 70 psi.
Oh, okay.
And that's on the low end as well, 70 to 100 psi. So the closer you get to that 70 up to 100, even a little bit more, the better the quality of the water is.
And you would probably recommend an over-the-top rinse bar at that point, right? So you have like
Absolutely.
more.
Spread that water out.
Yeah. Yeah, because the pencil jet, I feel like if you have that much pressure and shooting it out, it's just gonna, it's gonna leave like spotting because it's gonna hit the frame or something like that. Yeah.
And me personally, I'm not a big fan of fan jets.
Okay.
I think they make too much of a mess.
Yeah. But we can agree that if the pressure is low, it's like gonna be your best friend. Okay.
Yeah,
Awesome.
Nice low pressure. But if you're using a DI system and you're just hammering water on it, it's just misting all over. More of a mess.
No. Okay. Great.
Yeah.
But now the most biggest system that is here is the triple R.
This bad boy, it is pumpless, but it is a triple RO system. So this and the Max use the same frame. The frames on these systems versus the Pures and the DI, they're twice as thick.
Okay.
They are actually elongated in a few places to help balance. It's a wider wheelbase to help balance. Because we know we're putting some heavy filtration on.
How heavy is this? Not to put you on the spot.
115, 120, somewhere.
And then the max is probably, I think it's like 100.
90 and change. Drop.
Okay.
Shipping weight like 92.
Okay.
So once you put water in it, you're well over 100.
Okay. So this one dry is 115, 120.
Yes.
Gotcha.
So pretty unique here, unique plumbing with this. It's got kind of a plus setup in the back here.
Okay.
You do have a dual pre-filter, so you have sediment, chloramine. Back here is a pressure gauge as well. And this is where it gets interesting. So your water from the pre-filters, it splits to 2 hoses and feeds 2 RO membranes in the back.
Okay.
RO membranes produce pure water and wastewater. We all know that.
Yeah.
The pure water goes to the 20-inch refillable DI. The wastewater from these 2 RO membranes feed the 3rd RO membrane.
Interesting. Okay.
So you're not dumping, you're not losing water from 2 RO membranes. It's feeding the 3rd RO membrane. The
Okay.
pure water from this RO goes into the DI, you get your spot-free water, and the waste comes out. So you would think if you have 2 ROs, you have more wastewater,
Yeah.
twice the wastewater of the standard zero pure.
Sure.
If you would have 3, you'd have
Even
a
more.
lot of wastewater. You'd have about a gallon and a half of wastewater. It's a lot of wasted water, which
Yeah.
in places like California, you
Yeah.
don't want to waste water.
Yeah, we want to
There's
be very
restrictions on water.
restrictions and all that. Yeah.
So you're
It's
using
dry.
2 ROs wastewater to feed the third. So this produces the same wastewater volume as a standard zero pure.
Okay. Okay.
So
the
it's really-
single.
As a single zero pure.
Okay. Wow.
So you're recycling water here. You're kind of squeezing that lemon
Yeah.
and getting everything you can out of it.
Wow. Okay. Well, I learned something new today.
Yeah, it just comes right out the front of just one single waste from 3 RO membranes.
So let me ask you. So this one,
Mm-hmm.
if you just had like a regular spigot and everything, how high can this go without a pump?
How high? I
Yeah.
mean, higher than any pole out
Anywhere,
there would
okay.
go. Yeah. It would. The same thing with the Max. The Max will
Yeah.
get you 70, 80, 90 feet.
Okay.
Typically, no problem.
Okay, because I'm thinking because you have a third one, that's I'm thinking maybe it's going to be like the highest out of all of them, but
So you have pure from these two and pure from these combining in the DI. You're gonna have great pressure.
yeah, okay.
Like right out of the box, this is around 3 gallons per minute.
That's what I was going to get. Okay.
It's right around 3 gallons per minute.
So
add a pump onto it, you're talking 5, 6 gallons per minute.
So in reality, you really don't need a pump. In reality,
No,
'cause it
that's
should
the
be
idea.
good to go.
Yeah, one, it would be way too heavy.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know where I'd put it. It could work, but we would have to do some modifications.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, no pump on here. So great for commercial property, especially commercial property where you're going to have 60, 70, 80 PSI
That's
out of the
double.
tap. This is going to be able to run multiple water fed poles. So get your
Yeah.
garden hose splitters and a couple hundred feet of garden hose and you're good to go.
Yeah. This is kind of like the big brother out of all of them. So.
Yeah, as you can see from going profile here, it's pretty big.
Yeah. So let me ask you then. So when it comes to all these systems, now that we kind of discussed it, what would you say is the best, like for commercial? What's the best? Like I'm just saying average, not like for every job, but like average for commercial and best for residential. What would you say?
Yeah, commercial, I would definitely just recommend one of the Max systems. It's going to give you that best bang for your buck. Commercial,
Okay.
if you have more than one operator on site, hopefully make that large commercial job go faster.
Yeah.
A Max, either one of these would be ideal for commercial. You can absolutely use a zero pure, but a Max is kind of the bigger, beefed up version. It's going to give you the most water.
Okay. Yeah, and then, but yeah, I mean, that's anything else before?
They all work on residential,
yeah,
no problem as well.
okay.
If you know you're finding that you're not loving the flow from one RO membrane, something like the Max will give you twice the flow on a residential property. Gosh, anything else?
Well, I'll say this while maybe we're thinking of something else, but we have the X2, which will be equivalent to this one right here. Pretty much, I've never used a pump, as I told you guys before. We got a pump that was, I don't know, like $300-400. I bought it like 3 years ago. Never used it once. So if you kind of, like, in my opinion, want something that will last, that this will be good to kind of do for all jobs, kind of like what he was saying. But if you want something that's like, you know, you want to just focus more on residential, 3 pushing 4 stories, we can say, then this will be your go-to, which is, like we said before, comes in the ultimate residential kit. And that's why we really like this. I like this product a lot because, as you guys know, this is good for 1 operator, but like this is good for also 2 operators. And so, you know, it all depends on your
2
circumstances.
operators, and you can push water through more hose. That's another
Yeah,
plus.
okay.
You can
Oh,
have
yes,
it
yes,
set
yes.
up one place and then go through a couple hundred feet of hose.
Yes.
Where you are kind of limited with how much hose you can use as a single RO membrane.
So, if you had to choose one, which one's your favorite system? Just your favorite. Do you have a personal favorite, or you just
I'm
kind of
in love with the Zero Pure. It's just
Zero
so
Pure?
simple.
Okay.
You know, it was our first kind of design. It's so streamlined, so simple. There's
Okay.
no bells, no frills, no whistles.
And this is 75 pounds, like out of box, more or less.
Shipping weights in the 60s.
60s. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's not more on the lighter end, but
But I mean, you know, it's not terrible to pick up and get in a vehicle.
so now we know how much he bench presses. But okay.
It's not that heavy. You can lay it down and pick it up. It's pretty
And
straightforward.
and another question. So like this is good that for standing up and laying down too.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend lay them all down.
Okay.
You can operate, transport, standing up or laying down, but lay it down. It's
Okay.
very easy to get a hose pulled, whether it's
To
you,
the-
the operator, the homeowner, a kid, a dog, whatever. Just lay it down.
Especially if you have like a truck, you already have it laying down, just plug it in and you're good, kind of good to go.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay.
You can add a pump to any of these systems. If you ever do add a pump to any system, always put it before filtration. Don't go after filtration.
Okay, yeah, that's a question a lot of people ask, like where do I put it, but before, okay, before filtration. Well, anything else before we wrap it up on the systems itself?
Not unless you do.
No, I think I'm good. Do you have anything more? No? Okay, she's giving me the nod. Okay. All right, well, thanks so much,
Absolutely.
Alex. And yeah, we're happy to have your brother and yourself kind of show us your products and everything.
Thank you.
And it's been a pleasure to be here and to try some of these products out today. And yeah, I mean, we're looking forward to, you know, to being able to use these products that you have in the future and, you know, anything like that. And so we are looking forward to that.
Awesome.
So,
More to come.
yeah. All right, so I have a little bonus at the end of this video. I kind of want to show you guys the process of when you place an order to WCR, to the point of them going to go pick up the item, to then putting it in a box, getting checked. So I asked for a special request. It looks like we're going to be able to do that, so stay tuned and we're going to show you that right now.
You want to get packed too?
Yeah, it's not a problem.